The number of users increased last quarter by 25%. Sounds great, right?
Sounds good, right? Yeah.
Not good enough for investors because in the fourth quarter, Twitter grew its membership base by 30%. And so that deceleration is what's got everyone concerned. Membership in Twitter overall, 255 million monthly active users, which sounds pretty impressive until you remember that it's about 1/5 the size of Facebook's membership base. So it's still got a long way to go to prove to everyone that it's a mainstream tool. And this number is so important, this membership number, because Twitter needs to prove it's more than just a niche product, that it can make its case to investors that it's a tool for mainstream users and can gain mass appeal and turn it into an actual advertising powerhouse that the valuations would suggest it is.
There's the first derivative. I mean, that's a great chart we've got up there. That's the declining rate of growth.
That says it all, doesn't it?
It just says it all. And I thought Business Insider, I know, had two great charts out this morning on this as well. Scarlett, I mean, you mentioned Brian Weiser in our meeting this morning.
Yeah, Brian Weiser
he's nailed this.
Well, he made some really interesting comments because whenever you see user growth slow down like that, particularly in the U.S., everyone says, well, look at the emerging markets. It's growing in Indonesia. It's growing in China. Maybe it's growing outside the U.S., but Brian Weiser makes the point that monetization, long-term monetization at Twitter really depends on growth from countries with more robust, more mature media markets. That means the United States. That means the UK.
In Europe.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can't have growth in Indonesia, for instance, make up for the fact that growth is slowing down in the United States because the money is where the markets are.
Can I ask a dumb question? You're out talking equities much more than I am. Is there a buzz on these stocks anymore? The way they're going down?
The buzz is this thing trades at 1,300 times earnings to the extent that there are earnings. I mean, you look at 19 times sales, 19.3 times sales. That's the concern, Tom. And you know, the distinction, the difference between Twitter and Facebook, you say, oh, well, if Twitter's a fifth the size of Facebook, it can grow, but can it monetize? There's not a lot of real estate on this thing to help you.
What did we learn on the conference call?
We learned that the company is very focused on mobile, as it should be. 80% of its mobile advertising revenue makes up 80% of its total advertising revenue, which has been a challenge for some of the other social media companies. Twitter has always done very well on this. It's whether it can get that monthly active user number back up again in the direction that investors want to see it in.
And Tom, here's another one for you. 7 buys on Twitter versus 14 holds and 13 sells. So hold and sell is effectively the word on the street.
Gowdy Eggertson, our guest host for the hour, you're an economics professor at Brown University. Do you and your colleagues use Twitter?
I have to admit I don't. Some
That's
of my...
problem.
Yeah. Why not?
It just never caught on with me. It just, I use different...
See, they need to get more mainstream users. Gowdy's not exactly mainstream. I mean, he had his economics education.
To this point,
No, meaning he's the intellectual elite. But you've got guys like this who haven't really, bought onto the Twitter idea.